Hi guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Do a quick first impressions gameplay video for Astellia, a fantasy MMORPG developed by Studio 8 and published by BarunsOn. I spent about 10 to 15 minutes on the ground checking schematics content. If you guys do want to play Astellia or just learn more about it, do check the full review on MMOs.com on the link below. Let's go and get started right now. We're in the game's character creator. I can show the game's playable classes. We got some side boob action going on with the Archer. You have 5 playable classes in the game. You got Warrior, Archer, Assassin, Scholar, and Mage. And given that the Mage character is the Lolly character, you can already guess which character I made. But you can see the game's character creation options in a second, and they're actually not bad. If you click random, you'll see a bunch of the options changed, though I do think the facial options are a bit iffy. Like, a lot of the default faces look really scary, including this one. But if you go through random enough, you'll find some good stuff. There's the boob slider. There's a lot you can play with in the character creator, which is pretty decent, especially for Unreal Engine 3 powered game. Anyway, let's jump out of here and right into the game. I did make a character already. The game's actual classes will not be gender locked when the game launches later in September. And when the game launches later in September, it will be buy to play, whereas the game has been free to play in South Korea. So the Western version will be buy to play, and because it's buy to play, they've done a few notable changes to the game, at least plan to. Firstly, the classes themselves will not be gender locked, and dungeon tickets in the game, which are used, of course, to enter dungeons, are available in game for free rather than the cash up. Those are the two major differences. So here we're in the game, we're level 11. We basically just got past the game tutorial. I wanted to get out of there real quick before I started recording. And you can see visually the game doesn't look bad. You know, you can see my character over here. The facial options are always kind of iffy, and there really aren't too many emotes in the game, unfortunately. But you know, let's do it. Let's try some of these. There you go. Look at these sick emotes. The best part of those emotes is that you can see some boob physics over there. My character's minor boob is, look at them dance. Unfortunately, there's no /dance feature, which is very weird. I feel like every MMORPG has that /dance feature. Let's go do our quest right now too. Astellia plays a lot like a traditional MMORPG. In fact, they're not trying to necessarily be anything special. They do build themselves as a classical MMORPG with some innovation, and that's a fair point. I mean, they're not saying they're reinventing the wheel here, and it has a holy trinity, some very basic core MMORPG mechanics for any Korean MMORPG. The key difference, of course, are the ways you customize your character and the game's signature Astell system, which is a very fancy way of saying pet system. We looted this guy over here. Let's get this priest fellas back. So you can have Astells in the game, which are basically just pets. So you know, each of the 5 classes plus all the Astells, you have some decent variety, especially because every class has 3 advancements upon reaching level 50 or so, and 3 specializations per class. So it's 15 actual playable classes in the game, which is not bad. And the Astells again are basically pet systems. So you can see I have one Astell right now, Rhoda. It's the default one you start with. Read the journal. Let's go do that real quick. In fact, the whole entire early game experience, like most Korean MMORPGs, is spent doing these main story quests. They're marked with the yellow over there. They're side quests as well. The game is voice acting too, so they clearly spent some effort localizing the game, though I imagine not many people are actually going to be playing the story. We'll kill this male dart Oni. Mash our spells at it. We're going to be mashing Fireball. There's a few small things I like. One thing, you can actually queue up skills, which is pretty convenient, you know. Your actual rotation is pretty basic. It's actually very similar to Bless. Visually speaking, this game actually looks a lot like a mix of Aion and Bless, especially the starting area. This area I'm in right now is a bit like cleaner and looks a lot nicer. And the game actually has decent performance, better performance than Bless, because it is Unreal Engine 3, so that's the one thing everyone's kind of concerned about, is the game's performance. Though in the beginning area, it's actually worse. This area seems to be better performance, better FPS, because the areas seem more contained, like smaller areas. One of your big areas with lots of players, it can have some performance issues. And the currency is called Asper, which is kind of weird. I mean, in any fantasy game, the default should always be gold. There's no reason to not use gold, silver, copper in your MMORPG or any fantasy game. If you're playing a sci-fi game, it's got to be credits. Okay, that's what you got to work with. So we're aggroing some dinosaurs. So we'll kill these male dart Onis before we loot this quest over here. There's a rotation, but I'm just mashing my one fireball spell because it works really well. I have an ignite ability, which is a AOE. Not AOE, it's a DOT. I can freeze the guy, and if I freeze him, I can use my ice spear for bonus damage. So there's some minor combos, but for the most part, early on, I'm just mashing my fireball, which is all I need to do. If I pull too many things, I can actually summon additional Astells, which you can see right now. I got multiple pets out right now, all 3 of them fighting for me. The pets can stay out as long as you have this your meter over here. I think it's called AP. Let's see, it tells you it's over here. It's called AP, summoning duration AP. So if we get rid of some of these, for example, click into them, get rid of these 2. So now if you only have one guy out, you can start regenning. It tells you the cost. My character's got 30 regen, and having each of my dudes out right now costs 20. So because of that, I can keep one guy out all the time. Different Astells require a different number of APs to keep summoning. So it's kind of neat, because which Astells you actually use and which ones you level up and which ones you customize are really how you end up customizing your character. I mean, you can obviously actually level up your character. You can customize your individual character as well. But with the Astells, there's some actual decent variety over there. Now, the biggest minuses right off the gate for me was performance issues when there's more players on the screen, especially when you're playing at a higher resolution and whatnot. I'm playing on a top-of-line PC, so I should definitely get much better FPS than I do in the game. But given that it's Unreal Engine 3, it's kind of to be expected. Though it's not as bad as Bless, there are still some serious performance issues, which I hopefully will get worked out eventually. Nice. Let's go defeat Demon Dark Priests. So bust out my character window over here. You can see my customization. You can actually boost your stats. My reigning stat points are 4 to 5. And like if we want to increase our int, for example, we can use one of these crystals. This is a really Duke tier crystal, very low tier crystal. So it's only give my stat boost like a very minor boost, 0.5 to 3.4. So there's a lot of RNG with your stat boost. So we're gonna go ahead and use that and see how much stat boost we gain. We can't do it. Maybe we can't do it while moving. So we'll kill this right now. My last one got 2%. So later on, you'll be farming for better crystals, so you can increase your stats and get better RNG and your stat upgrades. And you can actually upgrade your skills as well. You can see, for example, if I have Ice Arrow, I can put points into every level. I get a skill point. I can increase the status, or the status duration or the accuracy of it. There's spell accuracy, so you can actually miss your spells, which is kind of weird. But I know Bless did that as well. This game has a lot of Bless-like features, which gives me PTSD. Definitely not a good sign that it's like Bless, but it runs better. Definitely runs way better than Bless, so we gotta give it that. But the zones are typically smaller as well. On the larger starting zones, I had some serious FPS issues where I couldn't get above 50 FPS at like 2K resolution. And actually 1920 by 1080, I couldn't even get past like 55 FPS regularly when an area is busier. Fortunately, the dungeons themselves run pretty fine because the dungeons are instants. But the dungeons in Bless ran pretty well too. It's actually good to have Astells in the game too. You can see, let me bust these out for a second. You can see all those, all the Astell cards. You can actually upgrade them with additional cards, star jewels, but you gotta farm for these bad boys. And each card, each character has their own little, each Astell has their own abilities too. Like this one is, my default one I'm rocking right now is kind of like a tank. Holds aggro for me. Because I'm playing a spellcaster, it makes sense for me to have a tank one. And again, you have multiple Astells out at once, but it does drain your AP bar. So if you ever pull too many enemies, you just summon all of them at once to defend you, which is kind of cool. There's active dodge as well, which you just saw me do by accident right there. You can use to dodge those red circles on the ground that you'll see in basically any MMORPG like Terra, Blade and Soul and whatnot. But it's not really an action game. It's like maybe pseudo action because you can actually kind of move around and cast sometimes. But everything's generally tap targeted. Speak with Bethael. And again, for the first few hours of the game, you're gonna be basically doing all these main story quests. And there's tons of side quests too if you want to do those. But there's a good variety of Astells, which is kind of nice. You gotta unlock all these bad boys, and they level up with you as long as you have them. And as you kill enemies, they do level up. Tells you your strongest ones too. Their CP is 1326. It's combat power. I don't like seeing the word combat power though. It reminds me of basically every Chinese MMORPG. Every Chinese MMORPG has that. Let's go talk to our boy Bethael over here. Like this screen, for example, is very much Bless-like when you can see these two NPCs talking like this. But visually, the game looks like a mix of Bless and Aion in my eyes. And here's another one of my Astells over there, the cute lolly Astell. We like her. She's actually our favorite. But this one's good because she's a tank. It's kind of like a clockwork doll thing. Obtain 4 fangs. It has all the typical generic elements of any fantasy MMORPG. You have quests where you pick up like 5 flowers on the ground. Tons of these random fetch quests, kill quests. But again, it's not. It specifically says it's it's a classical MMORPG. And from my experience so far, it's not bad, right? But my problem is it's going to cost money, whereas it was free to play in South Korea. And I'm not sure if the changes are enough to warrant that extra money. For example, I mean, obviously the fact that classes are not gender locked when the game launches is nice, but it's not really a deal maker or breaker for me personally. The fact that dungeon tickets will be available for free that's nice. But again, I really haven't seen too many games that charge money in the West that are free to play in like their home market do particularly well. I think Bless was actually one of the only ones. Not Bless, Black Desert Online. What are we talking about? Bless is horrible. But most of these games that end up charging money in the West when they're free to play in the home markets end up being kind of iffy. Let's loot these too. I gotta kill more of these bad boys. So again, very typical MMORPG fare. And for Unreal Engine 3 game, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's not particularly great either. A lot of the character models look really wonky. Though I do want to say the cosmetics in the game look quite good. So that's actually like my favorite part so far. I mean, the glamours are kind of nice. The actual emote game is definitely weak though. But like for example, if I put this out, like you can see my outfit right now, it looks pretty good. Pretty, can't quite get where we want to, but pretty good. Like, you can put this one on too. You get some little bit of thigh action over there. My favorite one is this level 3 one. This looks really cute, but it's level 3, so I'm not going to wear it. But like, these little X stitchings look super cool. And of course, obviously, the best outfit is the one without armor. So you can see look at that booty. The booty's not bad. This is an Unreal Engine 3 booty, and it looks decent, all right? I maxed out my character's boob size over there, but wow, look at this guy messing me up while I'm checking out my character's boobs. Let's cast my insta-cast lightning. I put all my points in lightning so far, but it's got a pretty big cooldown, so I'm pretty sure I wasted that. But I think you can reset your skills, at least for a while, without any kind of cost. They reset all skills. There you go. You can reset them all for free, I think, which is kind of nice. You can click on this to find out. Nice. Hopefully it doesn't cost any money later. I do like I can reset those whenever I want. So again, your real customization comes from how you level up your skills, how you level up your stat points, and again, in order to level those stat points, you're gonna need more of those crystals and whatnot. And how you level up your Astells, which Astells you actually use as well. And actually, depending on which Astells you have, like in a combo, for example, you have deck effects. So you're using multiple Astells at once, you get like certain bonuses as well. You can see increases item drop rate and whatnot. So that's kind of neat too. But beyond that, all the core gameplay elements are very typical MMORPG-esque. There's a duel arena. I think there's a territory control area dedicated for just for that kind of PvP. And there's arenas and stuff. No, I don't think there's any open world duels though. Dueling is not available right away, which is kind of lame. I like when MMORPGs let you duel right at level 1. Start the game, duel other level 1s. So it's pretty fun that way. But it is a DX9 Unreal Engine 3 game, so that alone should definitely raise some eyebrows. You know, I think it should make Unreal Engine 4 at least before it launched, because if you've played even Blade and Soul launch was kind of laggy. But not every Unreal Engine game is terribly laggy. But from my experience, I know Terra was Unreal Engine 4 too, and that was a hot laggy mess for a while. It's gotten a little better, but it's still not perfect. But the performance issues are definitely the biggest little if thing for me. Look at these jog animations. Not terrible. Not terrible. Okay, we got to do obtain Aru purple carnations. But again, it's definitely not bad. I just wish it was a free to play game. I think I could recommend this game a lot easier if it was free to play. But the fact that it costs money, it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell for a game that costs money. But there is some hype for it though. I know the closed beta keys on MMOs.com went really, really quickly. So there's definitely some hype for this one. Again, the full release will be in September of 2019. This video is being recorded in the game is closed beta. But if you're looking for just another fantasy MMORPG to play, kill some time between expansions that you're waiting for, or another game you're waiting for, it's not bad. If there's a free trial, it'd be great. But as a buy-to-play game, it's just a very, very tough recommendation from Remo. There are just a lot of other options out there. But the game is functional. It works. It's just so many other great games out there. It's not an action MMORPG. I personally prefer both Terra and Blade and Soul over this because of the action elements. And it's just a tab target. I mean, tab targeting isn't bad either, but just as a buy-to-play game, I can just buy ESO. I can buy Guild Wars 2. I think there's just other better options on the buy-to-play front. As a free-to-play game, I think it's not bad. I think it could have done much better as a free-to-play game, but that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, guys, if you like what you see with Astellia, you want to give it a try or learn more about it, do check out the full review on MMOs.com on the link below. Anyway, guys, later.